I don't use a guitar.
All
And
right.
of course, that's why it's called a cappella. And you know, but you don't know why. Everything's going to get better. And she knows, but she won't say why. She'll love you if you let her. Father in the sky sings a soaring song of roaring love that fills the night, and stars come out to light your way. Mother feels your trials, all your smiles. She feels your strange high. Unrecognized, she's the one who changed your hate to fire. And the feeling prickles your skin. All your hairs stand up now. Electrified, you change your mind. Don't be scared, it's all in time now. Flowing, the river fills your veins. You unstick and range far beyond the plain and narrow. Chunk, chunk. Easy, your breath comes and goes with the ease of those who know. A struggle will stop the flow now. Your tummy turns, the light shines to the sky. Everything's going to get better. There she stands, she fills your eyes. You love her and you'll let her. A change of heart unfettered, everlasting, and you're free. You are who you will be.
Yeah.
Thank you. And this is one of my haiku. My sarcophagus, cat paraphernalia, everything's shiny. And then I was going to read this, which is 12 and a half minutes long.
We only have 15 minutes.
There's no more haikus.
Speed read it.
What about the
Well,
cat?
excuse me, why don't you read at least the first 3 sections? That's about 5 minutes. Go,
Oh, I can
just-
scare the heck
why
out of
don't we let
This
you
is
read?
from, well, anyway. Excuse me. 46. Some of us have these problems. Notes from the Assassin Who Killed Time by Paul K. Bach. For Steve, not my brother. My brother's name is Steve. Oops! I just had to do what, for want of a better word, I will have to call a casual kill. Unfortunately, when I was younger and more foolish, I dabbled in many substances. One of them was cocaine. Sometimes I smoked crack. I don't recommend it. As I mentioned, I only dabbled, meaning I never did it day after day after day after day like an addict. Not all the people I met in that scene were morally corrupt, but some were morally bankrupt. It was the poor misfortune for one of these bankrupt people, whom I will call Steve, to screw me over. Once. After having not done any drugs for almost 10 years, I was walking down the street in Redact, and this is important. When you hear me say the word redact, imagine you're reading an FBI or a CIA file and that's a blacked out section. Medium redact means longer, long redact means longer, like a sentence.
Redacted.
So, redacted like an FBI file. After having not done any drugs for almost 10 years, I was walking down the street in Redact when a fellow fell upon me. Thin-faced and intense, he reminded me of myself. He was chatty. Somehow I didn't mind and spoke with him, the how are you, where you headed kind of small talk people do. I had just finished a job. I was relaxed. I had a few fine vodkas in a lovely restaurant overlooking the long Redact lake, so my guard was a bit down. At one point during our walk, he quickly glanced around, like I always do, and said, "Hold on a second, watch my back," hunching away from me and lighting something. Being relaxed, I held on. Watched his back, no problem. The next thing I knew, he was furtively looking around again, his constant condition I would find, and handing me a crack pipe. He held the lighter, its flame high. I took the pipe. I smoked a hit. It was pure. He lit it very carefully. We walked on. Wow! Suddenly, I was happy, man. How about maybe a drink, I said. Let me buy you one. Fortunately, I had only $100 in cash at hand. He mentioned a great beer place, 40 different taps. I said, what the hell? I pulled out my $100 and handed it to him. Here, I said, you can buy us both drinks. His eyes lit up. I didn't notice. He graciously took it and said, cool. We went to the bar, but not before having 2 more nice hits of rock cocaine each. As I've mentioned, very strong stuff. As I've also mentioned, it had been almost 10 years. I almost didn't notice that he was a local kingpin crack slinger out for his life. He slung sacks along the way, me watching his back, being invisible, the usual. Known by few, a hero among poor addicts, eventually hated by me, which is not good for anyone's health, as we shall see. Very nice bar, shady patrons, my kind of place. Different types of beer on tap. Like he said, 40. We sat at the bar, far from anyone else. After tasting several, we ordered. He pulled out my 100, tossed it down, and said, here. The bartender took the bill, brought back the change and our beers. I almost didn't notice when he took the change, tipped the bartender, pocketed the money, pocketed the rest of my money, sipped his beer, said, I'll be right back, then split. For good. I was quite high. It had been cocaine, but I didn't forget. I drank my beer at my leisure, and because I knew he would not be back, finished the evening in a nearby cocktail lounge, knocking back more vodka, which had no effect, of course, due to the quality of the drugs I had ingested. I also drank lots of water, finished the evening with a large orange juice. I walked back to my redact and spent the next day doing the appropriate things to rid my body of the horrible after effects of that drug. The next day, I flew home.